If I were a rich man.
Whether you're in your smart car avoiding Hummers or you're in your house avoiding the J-Dubs, there's no avoiding us, The Drew Marshall Show, live through our website and right here on Joy 1250.
If I were a bitty rich, idle man.
Well, you've seen him on the Late Show with David Letterman and on Everyone Loves Raymond. I guess it's Everybody Loves Raymond. Make sure we get that right. Each summer at the Just for Laughs Festival in Montreal, he delivers the State of the Industry address, but he is probably best known for his mockery of himself as well as other comedians more deserving of his wrath. The website is andykindler.com, and I just like him. That's all there is to it. Andy, how the heck are you?
Well, first of all, that was a fantastic introduction.
Well, I'm telling you, we do our best here on the show. Our staff of 17 writers put that together.
I loved it, and also
yes.
I don't want to start out with humor.
No,
but,
no.
But if the Jewish people were always worried about being stereotyped about how we feel about money.
Yeah.
And yet that's one of our more popular songs. If I had lots of money, if I was really wealthy, oh, how wonderful, bing, bang, boom. What could be better than that? You know what I'm saying? I would stay away.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, as a songwriter, I would stay away from that.
Andy, I got to let our listeners in on how you and I first met. I was coming into the A-List Celebrity Hotel over in Vancouver. When I was out there for Comedy Fest. And I was going to the elevator, and lo and behold, there was you and Tom Arnold standing together. I ignored you and paid more attention to the bigger name. and of course, Tom and I chatted about a mutual friend we had, Candace Cameron Bure. He and Candace worked on some Christmas movie together, and then we kind of ran into each other.
It wasn't a wrestling thing, right?
Excuse me? No.
I mean, I'm sorry, not wrestling. Were you talking about hockey with him?
Well, we were talking about hockey as well. Yep, that's right.
Yeah, okay. Because
yep.
I thought you were, I was convinced you were a performer, and I kept thinking, I don't know, the more I looked at you, I thought...
I know this guy.
I know this guy. That's what I did. I thought that you were someone I knew from TV or the movies.
No, sorry to burst that bubble awfully quick.
Or the faith community.
And then, lo and behold, we were on this show together called Out of Bounds My Ass, and the subtitle was Oh My God, and it was a panel of comedians talking about God. We had an atheist comedian moderator, we had another atheist comedian, we had a comedian who grew up in a Baptist background, and she was just bitter, and then we had you. Who came on and sort of pseudo-defended God in your shtick. And then the president of the Canadian Humanist Society came out. We're talking about an hour-long setup for me to come out and defend God, and I failed miserably.
No, I thought you did a fantastic job, actually. I thought you were very eloquent, articulate, and in other words that I could come, if I had my thesaurus up right now, I would come up with another word. But no, I mean, it was I don't know why I say it, I don't want to get into how they're going, but no.
What?
But it was one of those situations where I felt ganged up on in a way. But I mean, I wasn't not ganged up on where I was going to cry, like I was being bullied, but
no.
It was, to me, a typical way that kind of discussion is framed.
Yes. Yeah.
With lots of people on the one side, what are these crazy, primitive God-believing people?
Yeah, no, I know.
And let's bring one out now.
Yeah, let's bring one of those people out right now. No, it was a lot of fun. As a matter of fact, it was the other atheist comedian. I can't remember his name, but he was just riffing something fierce. He was bitter and twisted, and he came out and then we all sat down there on a panel, a bunch of chairs beside each other, all warm and friendly. And he started off by saying, "Now, before this thing begins, I would just like to say that this guy here," and he pointed to me, he should be the next blanking pope."
Oh, that was good. Yeah.
I thought that was a lovely compliment.
It was really, really nice. I think he actually felt. He, I think, came out and attacked, and then felt bad that he attacked.
Well, he should. He should.
He should.
Yeah.
I should be the only one allowed to attack. If that was rules were made.
I actually kind of attacked you a little bit there. And I'd like to do the same thing at this particular point. Do you have your cue cards ready for this interview? You know those cue cards you never go to?
But you got, yeah, that's right. That was a little schmaboopy there. I laughed very hard when you did that. Yeah, I have index cards because I have no memory. Now, I don't like if I'm going to do like I did a Comedy Central special, I didn't have the cards with me.
Yeah.
But if I'm doing like something a little bit more off the cuff, where I'm like in the alternative clubs, we all agreed, hey, why don't we bring our act on cards or on notebooks? I think I was the one who pioneered index cards.
Yeah, you started it.
But you gave me a shot.
Yeah, I did.
I forgot what the nature of the shot was.
I threw that right back. Actually, I remember you came out. You made me nervous. Here I was delivering my spiel, and then my peripheral, I caught the great Andy Kindler come out from backstage and kind of lean against the wall and
that was me. I wasn't trying to. I wanted to watch. I wasn't trying to jinx you. Did I throw you off?
No, it worked better because I had another little thing where I said something funny, and I looked over at you like, hey, I can be funny too, you know. Yeah. I think what did I say? I said the church needs to be more comfortable talking about sex, and people, please, for goodness sake, when will the church understand masturbation can't be beat alone? You see? And then I looked at you and said, hey?
Come on. Is that not the kind of that material would have fit right into the movie Funny People? I just saw on DVD finally, or on demand. And by the way,
yes,
on demand and the movie Funny People, there's something wrong with those two phrases back to back.
Yeah,
I did not really afterwards feel like I must see this movie this evening. It's ironic. I'm sorry.
I got to say, it's a shanda how you are making less money than Dane Cook. I really feel like you and he are mishfuka.
Did you see? There was a.
I don't know.
We really are.
I don't know what the heck I'm talking about, but I.
Well, I think you're saying that. I think you're saying in a way that there's a kinship between me and Dane Cook, and I would probably challenge that. But you know, we were all in and I don't want to brag, but I was in the Quad City, Iowa area.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want anybody to feel bad about their own lives.
No.
But so I was playing a club there called Penguins, which was actually a very fun club. But Dane Cook was playing the iWireless, Staples, Wireless.
What was the difference in cover charge that night between the two?
His was $103 a ticket, and mine were $14.
Sorry about your luck.
And I still think there were seats. Still seats, as always, still seats available.
Still seats available.
There's always room. If you like Andy Kindler, one of the advantages of following me is there's always room.
Yeah. But you're not a huge fan of Last Comic Standing, I understand.
Yeah, I'm.
That's like the death of the world of comedy to you. It's like.
Yeah, my whole thing is, I'm not a big fan of. I think stand-up is already embarrassing enough, and people do it. It's already a weird thing to get up on stage and go, "Good evening." Now, isn't it crazy how your shoes? Why don't they call them sneakers or whatever the heck? So just anything you can. Don't cheapen it further. You know, I don't need to see stand-up comics competing from giant bowls of oatmeal or something.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. But
so I don't like the contest when all comics came up. There was always, like the San Francisco comedy competition, and I don't know what I meant by they came up. But so competitions are okay, I think, in a certain. Remember Ted Mack Amateur Hour? Hello.
Oh, come on. Thank you for that moment.
So, but yeah, that's it. Yeah, it really is. It makes me feel bad about comedy, that show.
You're coming back on Letterman, maybe doing a Super Bowl reporting thing, or are you going to get bumped again?
I think I can't get bumped. Well, I don't think I've been bumped that much, but I don't think I can get bumped because I'm doing an actual piece for them.
Yeah.
For the Super Bowl. So if I get bumped, I'll be
that's not going to go
surprised and shocked.
What are you? You're going to go interview the team? Go into the dressing room with the towels and the half nakedness, or what are you doing?
I think what happens is, and I don't even know where it's televised this year. If it's televised, because if CBS is televising it, which I don't know if they are, then you get more access. But I've only done it once before. But you're limited by the people who are broadcasting it. So I think it was ABC that year or whoever it was. They get the first dibs and everything.
Right.
But I did get into the locker room last time, and I got to interview Stevie Wonder last time.
Wow.
And Evander Holyfield.
Wow.
And
now you're on the Drew Marshall Show. You and John Doerr did what, half-hour with Comedy Central recently? When was that?
Yeah, we just both taped or recorded or digitized our Comedy Central half-hour presents half-hour ones at the John Jay Theater in New York, and we were back-to-back on the same show. That was fun. He's really funny.
Have you sold any of those DVDs that you and your wife did?
And
I don't mean that one.
We have been selling. I mean, I'm not saying they're going like hotcakes. They're selling like DVDs. And again, if you want to, they're all available on my website. And don't feel like if you go on there, you're going to be backed up by a lot of traffic.
No.
You're going to have to wait.
No, none of that.
Your transaction will go through immediately. Not because I have a tremendous server. It's just there'll only be a couple of people trying.
I want to commend you for working your way through the system of figuring out that sort of thing, how to sell stuff online, and just figuring out PayPal in and of itself. Well done.
Well, that was my wife and I are in. We like to say in business together, but my wife figured out all the PayPal stuff will drive you crazy.
Yeah,
I think it's like passing the bar, except at the end of it, I don't think you can practice law.
Yeah. So you're saying that Susan is the administrative genius in your family?
No, we both trade off on things, but we're both supposed to be in charge of doing things. But I do find a way to shrink from my responsibilities.
And so you should.
I like to walk around as a genius. I'm a genius. How could I possibly?
How could you?
Do you want to waste my genius looking up things about PayPal? Shouldn't I be coming up with the next great Larry the Cable Guy character?
Oh, please. I got to tell you this. I was driving back from somewhere up northern Ontario to my cottage, and the halfway point was Casino-Rama. So I stopped in there because I needed to stretch my wallet. And the media liaison lady came up and said, "Hey, you want to see a show?" I said, "Well, sure, we're here. We're killing a bit of time. Sure, what do you got? What's going on right now?" So, well, in about 15 minutes, a comedy show, Larry the Cable Guy. And it was kind of it was shocking, honestly. What was more shocking was the clientele. I mean, he is hitting the right market. He is casino crowd. You know what I mean? That is a beautiful audience for him.
Right, and also angry. I mean, it's a shrinking demographic, but it's the angry white people.
Yes.
Angry white people who just think if all of these minorities weren't getting such a fantastic chance in life, I could accomplish more.
Exactly.
They're standing in my way.
Yes, they were writing those country music lyrics on their way to the gig. And the trailers, the mobile, I don't know what you call them, the house on wheel things. There were 93 of them in the parking lot. It was unbelievable, unbelievable. Hey, are you in that room in your house with the bookshelf?
I am in that room.
You know that really butt ugly picture that's to the right of the bookshelf? Did you paint that?
No, I didn't paint that, but I actually like that picture.
Come on.
Is that your favorite?
That's not that's like a Picasso-ish kind of vomitous sort of, I don't know. It's because you're artistic. You can do cartoons.
I have my watercolor. I didn't want to have one of my own watercolors behind me.
Did you pay a lot of money for that?
No, but it's friends of ours.
Oh, sorry. So I just
no, but they're actually very talented people.
So you had to put it up. You had to put it up. It was a gift that you had to put up.
I like it. It's got I like that one. It's a weird thing, but I like it. It was painted by two people.
Well, that's obvious. There's not a lot of cohesion. I would like to ask.
A painting duo, like Simon and Garfunkel.
Yeah. One could reach further than the other. Does it seem really, Andy, like 1,000 years since Andy and Bill, or does it seem like 1984?
Where would you find out Andy and Bill? Andy and Bill is the comedy duo I was in, as nobody knows but you and me. And he's still a friend of mine. He's a
shrink.
He's a therapist. Well, a shrink implies doctor. No, he's a therapist. Yeah.
Yeah.
But how do you know all this?
Yeah, how do I know that picture's hanging right behind you right now?
In my house?
Yeah.
There's an Andy and Bill shot in there?
No, that's a Picasso-ish piece there. How did I know that? I just...
Oh, yeah, that's right. You're able to divine things. This is where the faith thing comes in.
That's it.
But no, I was in a comedy duo when I first started.
Andy and Bill. Do you miss those days?
No. Well, I actually had fun doing it. I think it was a great thing because starting out stand-up is probably the most, not the most, anxiety-ridden profession. It's very anxiety-ridden. So to be able to start out with somebody to cushion the blow was great. And he's really, really funny. But then it started to not work when I would bail out of every bit that wasn't going well. He would, I was like the worst person for that. If it's not going well, I said, that's it. Okay, maybe I'm not a gay Martian. Maybe I'm not looking for gold on the beach.
Your improv team just loved you.
Yeah. As soon as I heard it when they said you have to agree in improv, I said, well, this is really the worst idea ever. That's funny.
You were the Andy in team.
Exactly. How is agreeing funny? Yes, and. How's that funny?
Yes, and.
What's funny about that? You know what's funny? No, and I'd like to kick in the tummy.
Yeah, that's funny.
Tummy, I just said tummy.
I know funny. Tummy.
Exactly.
That's a funny word. I told you that. I just finished my stand-up course at Second City here in Toronto, and I did my first 5-minute bit. There's a word I've always wanted to use, bit. And
you sound waspy saying it.
Yeah, well, sorry, I don't have the thing in there. It was a success. People loved me. It went over quite well.
That's cool.
Yep.
I mean what a great place to learn.
Oh yeah, no, learn from the best. That's
that book just came out today. I saw it in the bookstore about the Recollections of Second City.
Yeah, that'll be a good read.
I'd plug it if I could make money on it somehow.
I know.
Wouldn't that be good if you could make money recommending things?
You know what I'd recommend?
What's that?
Nothing. Andy.
Shul?
Can we talk?
Can we talk Jew? Let's talk Jew.
What? Do you get it? Who was that guy? You were doing a podcast in a small little room in the hotel, and there was a young lad who looked more Jewish than you.
He is. That's Josh Batum.
Who's he?
He's a young up, as I could now sound like an old Jewish promoter. He's a young up-and-coming comedian who's making a lot of noise.
Yeah.
And the kid's creating quite a buzz.
Is he?
Yeah, he's very, as you can tell, he's a very physical comedian.
Yes.
And he looks a little, and we have an idea. I wanted to shoot the Andy Kindler story as if I've just retired.
Yeah.
And looking back over my career, he's going to play the young Andy Kindler.
Yeah, he's going to play you. That's a great idea.
Yeah, and talk about something that caught fire was that hotel podcast.
Oh, listen, the lines?
We had 4 people the first day. We had 8 people the second day.
All right, listen, God stuff. Let's get into this because you and I had a little brief conversation at the end of the show. You were very complimentary, very kind. I saw that sweetness in you, and then we continued that conversation at Yuck Yucks out in the foyer while people were doing things. Big crowd inside, and you and I were chatting. And you have quite a storied background when it comes to faith. And I was intrigued to hear your journey. So let's get stuck into this.
Cool.
Raised in a Jewish home. No.
Well, raised in a Jewish home, but I would say that both my parents were reluctantly Jewish. My mom was raised in in Mamaroneck, and she was the only Jewish person, or one of the only Jewish people in her community. So she always felt weird about being Jewish.
Right.
And my dad was always a kind of agnostic. I'm not saying he's atheist, but he's certainly heavily agnostic.
Right. Okay.
But I went to but that being said, they subjected me to Jewish religious school from the time I was 6 years, and for some reason I was Reformed Jewish. First of all,
what does that exactly mean?
There's three levels. There's 3 different sects. There's the Orthodox, the Conservative, and the Reformed.
And the Reformed are the ones that can get away with more stuff.
Yeah, the Reformed people are not so much into the holidays or the rituals or the temple or each other. So I used to have this. You see, my theory about my mom is that she's anti-Semitic Jewish, not really anti-Semitic, but a lot of Jews are anti-Semitic, kind of, or self-hating Jews. And people say, well, why would you say something like that? And I say, well, just spend a day at the temple where I grew up, all right? Make your own decision.
Right.
So reform is less ritual based, and that's kind of in a way good because the Jewish rituals are a pain in the ass. They really are.
Yeah.
With the kosher.
No, I understand. And see, that's why I don't understand the Messianic Jews. I talked about them earlier in the show because, seriously, if you're into the real Jesus stuff, maybe the evangelical stuff, there should be, it's part of the selling feature there is less rules. And then you jump over to the Messianic Jewish stuff, then you bring in a whole bunch of Jewish rules. Why would you do that to yourself?
Yeah, that sounds like it's like a lose-lose.
Yes.
But, so I agree with you 100%, but I don't think there's a certain lack of rationality or something that goes on there. But so I mean, the thing about me was that there are certain things as a kid that you love, like we have a holiday called Sukkot.
Okay.
Yeah, which is like the festival of the harvest kind of a thing.
Right.
So they have like an outside thing with there's a lot of words I don't know. You got the grogger and the McGrigor and the McGrigor, but it's just basically like here's here's the produce and everything maturing, and it's late fall, and have a piece of challah with honey on it.
Have a what?
Piece of challah bread. Challah bread.
Okay.
You can get that in Montreal, not Toronto. Probably.
You're a very phlegmy people, aren't you?
I wish we were Flemish.
Oh.
That would help.
Oh.
But then a lot of the holidays are just depressing, like Passovers. I used to talk about this in my act all the time. Like all the holidays are, look, we suffered 1,000 years ago, so we continue to remind ourselves of how much we suffered, and so we eat this bread that's called matzah because we didn't have a chance to bake it 3,000 years ago, so we eat it the same way today to remind us to be miserable and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So as a kid, you don't get that cool Santa Claus type thing.
No, and it reminds me of bipolar people listening to country music. It's not, you shouldn't do it. Okay, so where are you at now? I mean, you grew up with some kind of confused, reluctant Judaism type deal, and then where did the God stuff go? Did it just become, okay, I have this heritage of Judaism, and there's God stuff in my past, but I'm not quite sure if there really is a God now. I think there is. I'm not sure. Is it a Jew?
Well,
all gods are the same. I mean, what's going on now?
Well, the other track is that I feel I've always felt heavily culturally Jewish, and that's part of the comedy background, and I really relate to the whole. Because my theory is that Jewish people are funny even when they're not even trying to be funny.
Yes.
Like I'm driving in a car with my friend, and Whitney Houston's song "How Will I Know" is on. He goes, "You'll know, Whitney. You'll know. Believe me, you'll know."
Yes.
Or when my uncle was watching Paul Simon in the park with Paul Simon and Garfunkel like 30 years ago, and he goes, "That Paul Simon's okay. He's not one of those jazzed up characters in the cockamamie outfits."
Which, now listen, doing the research I did for this Hanukkah show, by the way, Happy Hanukkah,
Happy Hanukkah to you.
I didn't realize that cockamamie was one of your words. Your people.
I didn't know. Well, it's Yiddish, right?
It's Yiddish.
Yeah, exactly. And so, but he wasn't even trying to be funny. So I grew up with all that, but then I just never felt. I went through the typical. I don't know for all kids, but I believed in. I got into like the occult, like that, not the occult, but believing in hypnotism and all this kind of stuff when I was like 13 and 14. And
did you have like a Ouija board and stuff?
Yeah, I loved all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But then as I went along and I got into college, I had certain spiritual experiences that were stimulated by like substances.
All right. Yes. Yeah.
Then I began to see what all the spiritual people have been talking about.
Finally, your eyes were opened.
Yes, and then also my mom, and this is going to sound strange, but my mom, when I was 16, she converted and she became a Quaker, which is there's different sects of it, but the sect that she belongs to is a very cool, kind of meditative, pacifist type of religion, and they don't really believe in dogma, but she had a very strong connection to Jesus and really conveyed that to me. So it wasn't like that she made me have the same connection, although I kind of feel, I see it. I can feel it strongly. And even Lenny Bruce talked about, not even Lenny Bruce, Lenny Bruce talked about how, when you had someone like Jesus as a kid to relate to, there's a chance that you could relate to God in a more personal way. And Jewish people, we really didn't have that chance. There's nothing personal. I mean, you can't get that excited about Moses.
No.
So then everything came together, and then a kind of rebellion against my father, who was so like anti-religion in any format. Then I started to fight with my dad a lot in my 20s about God and stuff like that. But now I don't fight as much about it because I just feel like I don't have to defend it as much because I just feel that I feel a sense of God, or whatever the word you want to use to describe us all being connected.
But you see,
I don't have to defend it as much.
The Quaker thing is just a whole, and that's the thing that really got me interested in actually having you on the show. It wasn't how funny you are, how nice you are. It was the Quaker/Jewish background, and that just seemed to be a bizarre mix,
I always hoped that it would take off comedically for me with all my I'm half Quaker, half Jewish jokes.
And how many of those did you come up with?
None,
yeah.
Because I would be they call me hacky in the business.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. I don't want to get laughs at the expense of. I want to eat oatmeal, but get a good deal on it. Hello. And on and on and on.
Yeah. Okay, so your mom.
I'm a pacifist, but don't aggravate me.
Andy Kindler, ladies and gentlemen, here on the Drew Marshall Show. So is your mom still, like, she's into the Jesus stuff then, right?
Well, no. Well, it's not like she's into the Jesus stuff. It's like, and she has there's no dogma attached to it, or no, like, she doesn't walk around like Tim Tebow with the John 3:16. She does wear that stuff, though. What's that called?
The big wig? She wears the big wig?
No. You know that Tim Tebow from Florida? He where the football players under their eyes they put black things.
Oh, right. The stop the glare off the skin thing, and it says John 3:16. She wears that.
Yeah, she wears those,
wow.
but not with religious messages.
No,
but she just felt it was a personal. She really felt a personal connection to that story, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, not story. I mean, to the actual feeling of Jesus.
Do you? I mean, is it? I get the sense from people that I speak with in the biz or in show business, in Hollywood or whatever, that it's actually more. It's cooler to be esoteric. It's cooler to float. It's cooler to not land on something. It just seems to be more in. And I know how in you are. The hipness reeks out of you. But have you ever had a desire to say, look, seriously, enough is enough? You'd think one of these things would stand out if it was actually true. Yes? No?
Well, I guess I'll let you know. I'm so hip. I haven't even left my house, but I do have a lot of hair gel in my head just for this radio.
Just for the interview.
Yeah. What do you mean? Like one of the religions would have taken off?
Yeah. You think if one of them is really true, you'd think it would stand out a little more than the rest. Right?
Like the one would be the Jews. We like to say we're the chosen people, but that never. Again, the branding somehow.
Yeah. You didn't have William Morris working for you on that one.
That's what we should have had. We should have had. Our religion should have been packaged.
It should have been a lot better packaged. Instead, you got the history of the world with Mel Brooks and dropping one of the tablets, Ten Commandments things happening.
Yeah, but I do think Christianity has taken off.
But okay, so nothing convinces you about have you ever had a moment at all where you've just said, maybe Jesus is who he said he was?
Oh no, I do believe that. But I believe but my feeling is that I think he was saying that God is in all of us.
Right.
So yeah, I do believe. I think he was a prophet, and I think he was. I love him. I really do.
Well, you have to say that. Everyone
says.
No,
but I love this whole. I love it, and I'm into that woman. I think I told you about her, Elaine Pagel, who writes about the different gospels that they've been finding later,
right.
Like the gospel according to Thomas, and so I also believe there's a lot of politics, obviously in Christianity about what gospels got emphasized. But no, I think it's really a fantastic. I think it's a fantastic, not just story, just the whole thing. No, I'm on board.
You're on board.
But I don't need to join do I need to join an organization?
Well, no, I don't think so. And
I don't rule out other prophets.
Right.
That's the thing. Well, I don't know much about Muhammad, but I'm assuming that all of the ones that are celebrated by many, many people, they're probably all pretty cool.
They got a little something going on. If more people that are into it, the better?
No, no, because that would then say George W. Bush was president. No, exactly wrong. No, numbers do not mean anything. Maybe it's staying power.
Yeah.
Staying power over the years.
Right.
Like Buddha seemed totally cool.
Well, he sits. That's why he's got staying power. That's all he does is sit.
Not fun at a party. Let's not kid ourselves.
It's not. And see, when I first started doing a show 7 years ago and interviewed these people about their spiritual lives, the question I would ask a lot of the times was, especially of the Jesus people who are celebrities, do you have to be quiet about your Jesus stuff in Hollywood? Because I've heard about persecution in Hollywood. They don't like the Jesus people there. You guys run the show, right? You run Hollywood. And
we do, and we have meetings.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, the thing is, I do think that there is that thing. I think there is a danger that people, again, like when anyone that day when we were arguing about God, it's like I think a lot of people who are atheists are very dismissive of anybody. Look how Bill Maher is about anybody who has belief.
Yeah, but that religulous was spot on. I mean, there's a deep comedic well of material within the world of religion, right?
Well, I didn't see the movie, but the way he's so mean about people who believe anything.
Yeah.
His concept of what believing is so narrow.
Kind of that Christopher Hitchens. Religion is not just something that's passive. If a mass of people believe in something that is not true, it is something that should be destroyed and stopped.
Right, and that scientist guy gets on my nerves.
Dawkins. Yeah, Dawkins. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
It just I find them to be very abrasive people,
Right.
and I don't think that most people who are spiritual take the Bible literally.
Right.
I used to have a joke: the only people who take the Bible literally are atheists and fundamental Christians.
Yeah. Well, fundamentalists on both sides are I don't like them on either side.
Right. Exactly.
You know, look, I think I believe in the fundamentals of the Bible, but being a fundamentalist, there's a reason the word mental is in the middle of that.
I agree.
You know.
Yeah.
It
doesn't make any sense. Why would you ever get attached to any? I could find a Hardy Boys book and say, like, yeah, this is my book now. Why would any book ever make you? Well, maybe the Hardy Boys Bible comparison is a little weak, but
Yeah.
why would you ever get attached on a written document?
Yeah.
As opposed to
Well, because what you're saying is the potential for man-made error in that written book is just too big to actually hunker down into the truth of it. Is that what you're saying?
yeah, and obviously the most poetic parts of the Bible. I mean, I think they probably got it pretty right from the translations from whatever the original language is. I mean, there is incredibly beautiful stories in the Bible and in many of the religious documents. So they shouldn't be dismissed. But when people hold on to this literal thing and go, "Hey, this says this, and if you're gay, it says it right here," you should. I mean, if you start to attach, find things in the Bible to believe things based on that are
Well, yeah, and that's where the math is wrong. That new kind of math does not work, where you believe something and then you go searching through the Bible to back it up. That's backwards, actually.
And who would want? I mean, why would you want to?
Yeah.
There's so much out there.
So, Andy, before we say goodbye, that was our hint that we won't be much longer. Before we say goodbye, have you ever had like a really? I mean, you probably can't admit this because it's Hollywood and they'll think you're more nuts than you really are. But a spiritual, like God, have you experienced God ever?
Well, I think I have. I've had these experience, and I hate to say that I don't think they were all on substances.
Right.
That I was working on the government. I was working in some government programs, spirituality. But I did have experience. Yes, I've had some very, very. I've also had out-of-body experiences, I've had a lot of experiences that makes me feel like a lot of things that people report as extraterrestrial, or not extraterrestrial, but supernatural.
Yeah.
I think a lot of those things do exist, but I think a lot of people are also making a lot of money on saying that they know something about it.
Yeah, Benny Hinn.
But, yeah.
A la Benny Hinn.
Exactly. But I have had very strong spiritual experiences. But nothing where, "Hi, Andy, I am God. How's it going?"
Right.
Which is, I imagine, exactly how his voice is like.
Yes.
"Hello, Andy.
Yeah.
It's God."
I'm going to be very disappointed if God ends up sounding like Don Knotts. I asked Tim Conway. I like Tim Conway.
I love him.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say that too. I didn't want to sound too fundamentalist about it. I had the chance to meet him, and it was, he's a childhood hero of mine, and he travels with a lady, a female impressionist, a celebrity impressionist, Louise Duarte, and when I asked Tim Conway, "Who makes you laugh?" He said Don Knotts.
Yeah, well, you can't go. I mean, you cannot go wrong with. I think the Andy Griffith Show is maybe that's like on my top 5 list.
Really?
Shows. I love it.
Okay, so let's that's the segue.
That's my spiritual.
That's your Mecca.
We're full circle now.
Yeah, right. Who makes Andy Kindler laugh? Everyone asks you that question. You're probably sick of it. Don't care. I still want to know the answer.
I think everyone knows that.
Letterman.
I guess it's Letterman, and I love him. But I also love Albert Brooks. I grew up loving, and Woody Allen, and Richard Pryor, and Gary Shandling.
Yeah.
And currently, I love Zach Galifianakis.
Excuse me?
Zach Galifianakis.
Okay.
Do you know him?
He's got a big beard, apparently.
Yeah, very, very funny.
I don't know. My engineer said that to me. He gave me sign language to help me in the interview. He has a big beard. Does he have a big beard? He was in that Las Vegas movie. The Hangover.
And Paul F. Tompkins is great.
Right.
He's a great.
Did you ever get into Billy Connolly or Ricky Gervais that
I love Ricky Gervais. I'm glad you brought Ricky Gervais because the British version of The Office is my favorite show. Up there, my favorite shows, and he's, I think, incredible. And Billy Connolly, I don't know as much about, but when I've seen him, he's made me laugh.
What about the Extras? Have you ever seen that series?
I love that show, too.
Yeah. You would be great on that. Oh,
yeah. Well, it's too late.
Yeah, it is. 2 seasons, that's it, we're done.
That's it, it's gone.
Andy, listen, we've been a bit silly along the way here, but I would not have asked you had I not detected an authenticity in you. And you have your shtick and your bits and all the other languages that you guys use the words. But you have got a warm heart, man. You really do. I don't care what anybody says.
Well, I feel the same way about you. I really really felt great talking to you that night. It was really a great experience.
It was an honor to have met you personally, but also to hear a little bit more of your journey on the show, on our Hanukkah show.
Fun, really fun.
Hanukkah show. Thank you. And now listen, you're off to a funeral, is that right, or off to?
It's a memorial service.
Okay. Well, I hope the rest of your day goes well. I hope Hanukkah goes well. Do you wish? Am I allowed to? I'm looking at my Jewish people in the studio. Can I say Merry Christmas to this guy? Is that
absolutely
okay? Merry Christmas, Andy Kindler.
I am insulted.
Stop it.
No, I love Christmas, and my wife loves Christmas. So we'll be doing it all. We'll be making it happen.
Good for you. Good for you. Love on Susan, and we'll talk to you again in the future, I hope.
Thanks so much, Drew. I really appreciate you having me on.
Thanks, Andy. Take care, man.
Take care.
Bye. Andy Kindler on the Drew Marshall Show. Boy, we should celebrate Hanukkah more often. I'm liking these people. All right, coming up next, let's hope he's out in the lobby, folks. The one and only Humble Howard should be in the house somewhere sometime soon. If not, we're going to play a lot of commercials. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
You're listening to The Drew Marshall Show, Canada's most listened to spiritual talkback program.